Hello and welcome back to Quarterlight. Quarterlight, if you don't know, we're a small YouTube channel looking at car brochures from around the world. Today's brochure is called Citroen Enterprise, and this is kind of like the commercial versions of the AX and BX. Okay, so this is a French brochure if you don't know. Citroen Enterprise, basically the commercial versions of the popular cars we know, so the AX and the BX. So here we've got the AX, as you can see. The AX, of course, first launched in 1986 at the Paris Motor Show, ran till 1998. It was there really to replace the Visa and the Citroen LNA. However, this is, like I said, a 1991 brochure, and there was a facelift of the AX in 91. So this is the facelifted version of the AX. Easy way to tell, these sort of clear indicators at the front, and they also centered the Citroen badge on the bonnet, where previously it was to one side, and there was also improvements to the rear and little improvements on the inside. The BX launched in 1982, arrived in the UK in 83, and it ran up to 94. However, there was a facelift in 86, so again, this is the facelifted Citroen BX, or Mark II if you want to call it that. And they kind of like rounded the bumpers off. They changed the interior to, the traditional fancy speedo to a regular speedo, etc, etc. Like I said, these are the Enterprise versions, so they are commercial versions of that, and we'll have a look what that means. So we've got the AX, the BX hatch, and we've also got it in the BX estate version. So if you open the page up, straight away it's showing the AX, and basically what Enterprise means really is they've removed the rear seats to make this sort of very flat loading space, to make a very cheap, simple commercial vehicle. You can see some of the dimensions. Like I say, all this is in French text. If we turn the page again though, we come to a very interesting version. This is the Enterprise version as well, so only front seats, the rear is just load space. But this is the Citroen AX 4x4, and again, a car that never arrived in the UK, unfortunately. I think it would have had quite good success actually if they actually released the four-wheel drive version of the AX. The Fiat Panda, of course, had huge success with their 4x4 version. This didn't have anywhere near that success, but like I say, a shame that it didn't arrive into the UK. And it looks in very lowly spec compared to this higher trim level. We've got black bumpers, steel wheels, extremely stripped down version, but like I said, a very useful little car. It then starts looking at the BX, the same sort of treatments. Again, the flat floor space, no rear seats. A handy vehicle though, with that self-leveling suspension. It could be quite useful. And I hear what you're going to say. You're going to say, well, why don't we have the rear seats and we can just fold the seats down to make a flat load space? And yeah, I hear you, but this is going to be a real cheap vehicle. You're not going to spend much money on this, and obviously the floor space is going to be a flat floor space with no little bits to ingresses to drop things down. This is a perfectly flat floor space with this little end piece on here. So really about costs as much as anything. And then finally you get the estate version, called here the Citroen BX Evasion Enterprise. In estate trim, you can imagine that's a huge area with no seats in there at all. So a clever little idea to make a very cheap for Citroen to make it, and cheap for you to buy it little van, I guess. They were also in some markets sort of a fiberglass roof to make it into an actual van, which had a higher roof space, but that doesn't show it in these Enterprise versions. Finally, we get to the specifications. So the AX, we had the usual, 10E or 9, I think it was 954cc engine. We had something called the Cabane, which was 1124cc, and then this four-wheel drive version with that same 1124cc engine. You could also have it as a diesel, and of course diesel hugely successful in France. Of course, the diesels were really popular at this time, and even in the UK, diesel sales were really huge, which really made the BX a great vehicle overall, and indeed the AX extremely economical. After all, it was an extremely light vehicle. So you could have the 14D, which had a 1360cc engine, and the higher trim, the Cabane diesel. It did open up still further, this particular brochure, to then give sort of like different spec levels, which we won't really go into here, and then onto the BX, and that sort of, we can have a look at them, choices of engine, etc. It's only showing it in diesel form, which kind of like makes sense for a commercial vehicle, really. So the 19TD with the 1905cc is the only engine choice that it's showing. You could have the base model or the Evasion model if you so desired. Again, showing the different trim levels on there. And of course you can have that as a hatchback or that nice estate version. And that pretty much concludes this very short video on the Citroen Enterprise models in 1991, August 1991, and this is for the French market. So there we go, a brief look at the Citroen Enterprise models for the AX and BX for the French market. Thank you so much for watching Quarterlight. Please do like and subscribe. It's all free and does help me greatly. But for now, we'll say take care and goodbye.